all these cartoon characters and these, great icons that he adores. It wasn't until we were shooting the pizzeria scene in Terrifier 1, because if you've seen All Hallows Eve, Art the Clown was played by my buddy Mike Gianelli in that, and he's played way more like Michael Myers, right? He's kind of just like straight, scary, a lot just more sinister. And then when Dave, it was like a simple scene where he had to give Tara the ring and then just get up and go to the bathroom, and he kind of hopped up and skipped away almost like Bugs Bunny. And then I'm looking at the mod, I'm like, oh boy, I was like, that's like very clownish, but then I'm like, oh, you know what? I mean, it's Art the Clown. I was like, I think we should maybe start injecting a little bit of that in there, not go all the way over the top with that, but if we have little moments of that with the character, that could be really amazing, and clearly it works very well. But also because these movies are so graphic and the kill scenes are so gory that at the end of the day, I want the movie to remain entertaining, so I don't want the audience to get up and leave, with that feeling like you just sat through a movie like Martyrs, and I'm not knocking Martyrs, I mean, that's a phenomenal movie, but that's just not the kind of experience I'm trying to create for the audience. So it's always important that we make Art the Clown sort of wink at the audience when he can after he kills somebody or do something really, kind of goofy and quirky, because I think that ride of him being funny and then being ultimately sadistic where, 1 minute you're laughing with him, the next you almost want to get up and leave the theater, and then he'll bring you back and have you laughing again. I think that kind of roller coaster ride you're on with him is one of the keys to the success of the movie. So for Terrifier, it's very important that we keep the levity in there.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, man.
Because when you came back into the bedroom and threw the salt in her face, I died laughing. It was one of those.
Well, that wasn't supposed to be funny. You're just a sick bastard.
Well, I am a sick bastard. In fact, you can ask anybody, but it was one of those. Ha! That's brutally wonderful.
Yeah. It's because I assaulted her.
And then she threw a battery at it too, with a salt and battery. Yeah, there we go.
First off, just thank you for reinvigorating the slasher genre. It's been so long since we've had something like this. With your small budget that you guys work with, what do you guys think of when the bigger studios utilize the visual effects and sacrifice the tangible? I don't think we'll ever feel like it's real with visual effects. We're just not there yet. So what are you guys' thoughts on big budgets kind of using visual effects instead of practical?
I say God bless and thank God, or else Terrifier 2 probably wouldn't have did what it did. No, listen, I would, if I ever got the chance to make a studio film, I would really fight for the practicals, obviously. I mean, because it really comes down to the filmmaker and the vision, honestly. I don't think the studios, I've gotten to talk to a lot of studios now and just people in the industry, and they say, like, the studio doesn't really care. They'll say, like, there's, however many ways to make a burger. As long as you deliver them a burger, that's all they really care about. So if you push for it and you have a good reason for practicals and you can make a case, I don't think they care.
As an actor, I prefer the practical because I've dealt with also the CG in the past. It's like with the practical, as an actor, you have something to actually interact with and work off of. So, and you have natural reactions to actually being splattered with something as pertaining to be splattered by something in that regard. It's nice to have something tangible there to work with. So as cold and as sticky and as gross as it can be at times, it's still fun. It helps lend to our performances as well.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, man.
I'm Nick. So I guess this question is for both of you guys. In your opinion, what makes a good slasher movie kill? Or like what makes a good engaging slasher movie in general? Is it shock value? Is it irony? What are you guys' opinions on it?
I like creativity. I like seeing things that I haven't seen before and like someone does something to surprise me. That's what I really enjoy. It's like, I'm like, gosh, I'm trying to think of something I saw recently. I was like, oh, gosh. Well, I think even back to like when I was watching Ash vs. the Evil Dead, there's like this one kill where there's like this blood geyser just going off in his face. I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. And I was like, but it's so good. And I was like, see, I've never seen something like that before, and I loved it. And so I was like, I like seeing people trying new things. And with this genre, it's a genre where you can constantly experiment and see what you can do with. And that's what I love about Art. he's a very creative killer, and he likes to play with his food, I guess you could say too. So there's so many possibilities with him. So that's what I enjoy about Art, and I like to see that in other movies as well.
I mean, if you just look at the classics and why they work, you have like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you have Halloween, and it's the atmosphere of both of those movies. You have iconic, striking-looking killers. That's a huge part of it. You know, you should really try and have some relatable or empathetic, sympathetic characters, you know, protagonists that you could follow and really be rooting for them. That's a huge part of it, because you want to be invested in them and you want to be suffering with them, honestly. If you're not clicking with them, that's not really going to work. It's not going to have the same impact. But it's subjective. You know, to me, when I was young and watching some of these, you would see some of the movies, the knife would come up in a slasher and go down, and then it would cut away. You wouldn't even see it. You'd just hear a scream off camera, and then I'd watch, say, Maniac or The Prowler, you know, a Tom Savini effects-heavy slasher, and you'd see the knife go in. You'd see, like, really brutal gore. And I felt like, how come this movie showed me that and that was not? Now I watch these, I feel really cheated. I like seeing the gore. So, but again, that's subjective. But for me, in a slasher, I really want to see the goods. You know, if you can deliver them, I want to get as much out of this movie as possible. So, you know, all I can speak for is myself. Like with Terrifier, I try and check all those boxes. You know, I'm not saying that I accomplished that, but I try.
The bloodier the better. Got maybe time for about one, maybe two more.
Hello, my name is Brandon.
Hey, man.
I have one question that was in my mind in both movies, and I don't know who the better one to answer this question is. Does Art, when he gets struck from another person, feel pain, or is he just reacting, but he doesn't feel pain? Because he seems pretty ethereal.
That's a good question. We've never been asked that before. I could tell you yeah, definitely in part one, he feels pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
Hello, Mr. Thornton, Mr. Leone.
Hey, man.
I was curious, so you know, like the horror franchise, there's like a huge market in like horror video games like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, for just to name a few. Have you guys ever thought of using your IP to collab with like a big horror game like Dead by Daylight, for example?
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, it's like known that we would love to be involved in Dead by Daylight. Even the creator of that game, or whoever owns it, is aware. So they just need to come knocking on our door. And we've also been in touch with these other companies who've created video games. I can't really say names or anything, but there's a lot of interest in the Terrifier video game. I will say that, and that's something that's probably going to happen, which is exciting.
I will also say this is a personal dream of mine. So I like to throw this out there too, because I am a huge Mortal Kombat fan.
Me too.
Yeah, and I really want Art to be a DLC character in this next game.
Yes.
That'd be amazing.
What would be your finishing move?
Finish him! Oh God! There's so many possibilities. But I definitely something with you. Just
Got to string them upside down.
string him up, bisect him somehow, you know, just like with his bag of tricks or something like that. It's like there's so many possibilities. That's what I love about Art. He's like, he doesn't have just one signature weapon. He has so many toys he likes to play with, and I think there's the movesets they could have, like kind of how they had Joker in the Injustice games and stuff like that. He had just all these different tricks and stuff like he was always kind of pulling out. I think Art could be that kind of character.
With your big giant bag of implements of destruction.
Yes, just blood with someone with the bag. I don't know. Just have fun. There's so many possibilities. Come on, Ed Boon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything about one more? Yeah, one more. Last one.
You guys are awesome. Love you. And so doing the convention circuit.
It can be both.
Definitely, sir.
That really stands out as far as like fan interaction or interactions with other actors or celebrities or whatever. Is there like one moment that really stands out? It's like awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's so many.
So many.
We just had one yesterday with Elvira.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
was cool.
Incredible. I totally fanboyed out to her because I'm obsessed with Mistress of the Dark since I'm a little kid, so that was wild.
I have to say my favorite one happened a few years ago. That was Spooky Empire down in Florida, where we're getting my makeup on in the green
this was
room.
great.
And our manager comes in, he's like, hey guys, got someone here that wants to meet you. And Damien's doing my eye makeup at the time, so I got my eyes closed and everything like that. And I just hear this, oh, wow, that's fantastic. And like, boom, eyes go open. And it's Christopher Lloyd just standing there with the biggest smile on his face. I heard a sound come out of him that I've never heard, and he just makes this. And it's just because Christopher Lloyd,
Yeah.
that man has brought so much joy to my life. He's in so many of my favorite movies. I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is my favorite movie of all time. Back to the Future is one of my favorite trilogies. It's just like Clue, Taxi, Switchblade Sam in Dennis the Menace, he's Uncle Fester. And I'm like, oh my God, just to be able to put a smile on that man's face who's brought so much joy to my life, just made my year. And I got to sit down and just chat with him for a while. He's just the kindest man. I'm just like, it's like that man is a true legend to me. So that was a very special moment.
That's amazing. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, buddy.
Speaking of bringing smile and joys to people's faces, as bloody and as violent and as wonderful as this movie is, I think I can speak for everybody in this room. You have brought a lot of smile and joy to everybody's faces in here. On behalf of the horror community at large, thank you guys.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, guys. Bring smiles to our faces, so thank you.
I wish you guys nothing but continued success. I hope Terrifier 3 is 4.5 hours long, because the more art and the more gore, the better. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrifier 2's head chef of the Clown Cafe, Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton.
Thank you.